You are about to lose today before it even starts. Not because of anything that happens to you, because of what you are about to do in the next 10 minutes. You are going to reach for your phone before your feet touch the floor. You are going to let a stranger's headline or someone's curated life be the first thing your mind feels today. And by 10 a.m. you will already feel behind, already feel tired, already feel like the day is winning. The samurai had a name for this. They called it picking up a dirty blade. A sword that is not clean before use does not cut. It tears. It fails exactly when you need it most. Your mind is that blade. The morning before the most important battle in Japanese history, Tokugawa Ieyasu did not panic, did not pace, did not stay up reviewing plans. He performed the same 10-minute ritual he performed every single morning of his life. Then he won. That ritual is what I am giving you right now. 3 things. 10 minutes. Stay with me. Welcome to Void Dojo. Before I give you the 3 rituals, I need to tell you something about mornings that nobody in the productivity space will ever admit. The problem is not that you are not disciplined enough. The problem is not that you need a better alarm clock or a stricter schedule or more motivation. The problem is that you have been starting every day by immediately putting yourself in a reactive state and then spending the next 16 hours trying to recover from it. Think about the last time you woke up and immediately grabbed your phone. What was the first thing you saw? Maybe it was a news headline that made your stomach drop. Maybe it was a work email that had no business being the first thing your brain processed in the morning. Maybe it was someone's Instagram life that made yours feel insufficient before you had even stood up. Your nervous system does not know the difference between a real threat and a digital one. When your brain processes stress signals first thing in the morning, it activates the same cortisol response that a samurai would have experienced before battle. Except the samurai knew how to use that state. He trained for it. He had rituals specifically designed to channel that activation into focus and readiness. You just scroll through it and wonder why you feel anxious. Here is the data. Studies from the American Psychological Association show that Americans who check their phones within the first 15 minutes of waking up report significantly higher levels of stress, lower levels of focus, and worse emotional regulation throughout the entire day compared to those who do not. You are not imagining it. Your mornings are making you worse, and the samurai figured out the solution 300 years before the smartphone existed. In 1600, before the Battle of Sekigahara, the largest and most consequential battle in Japanese history, Tokugawa Ieyasu did something that his generals could not understand. The night before the battle that would determine who controlled Japan for the next 2.5 centuries, Tokugawa did not stay up reviewing battle plans. He did not spend the night in anxious preparation. He did not lie awake running worst-case scenarios through his mind. He slept. And when he woke up the next morning, he performed the same 3 rituals he performed every single morning of his adult life. Not because he was not nervous, not because the stakes were not impossibly high, but because he understood something that most people in the modern world have completely forgotten. You cannot control what the day brings. You can only control the state of the mind you bring to the day. And a mind that begins the morning with clarity, stillness, and intention is a mind that can handle anything. Tokugawa won the Battle of Sekigahara. He unified Japan, and his family governed it for the next 260 years. What he did the morning of that battle is exactly what you are about to learn. Ritual 1. Mokuso, the 2-minute emptying. Here is something that is going to feel wrong when I say it. The most productive thing you can do in the first 2 minutes after waking up is absolutely nothing. Not check your phone, not plan your day, not review your goals, not listen to a podcast, not scroll, not read the news, nothing. Mokuso is the practice the samurai performed at the beginning of every training session and every significant day. It translates as silent thought, but what it actually means is deliberate mental emptying. The samurai understood that a cup that is already full cannot receive anything new. A mind that wakes up and immediately fills itself with external input never has the opportunity to settle. It carries the accumulated residue of yesterday directly into today without ever processing, releasing, or resetting. Mokuso gives the mind the 2 minutes it needs to do what it was designed to do overnight, but never gets the chance to complete because we interrupt it with our phones. The practice is almost embarrassingly simple. When you wake up tomorrow morning, do not reach for your phone. Sit up, close your eyes, and for 2 minutes allow every thought that comes to simply pass through without engaging with it. Do not push thoughts away. Do not grab onto them. Simply watch them the way you would watch clouds passing in the sky. That is it. 2 minutes. But here is what those 2 minutes actually do at a neurological level. When you wake up, your brain is still in a theta wave state, the same brain wave state associated with deep creativity, intuition, and subconscious processing. The moment you expose your brain to the stimulation of a screen, you immediately shift into a high beta stress state, and you lose access to the most powerful cognitive state your brain will be in all day. Mokuso preserves that state long enough for it to work for you instead of being immediately hijacked. The samurai did not have neuroscience. They had centuries of direct observation that a warrior who began his morning in stillness was sharper, calmer, and more decisive than one who did not. The data now confirms what they already knew. 2 minutes, eyes closed, nothing else. That is Ritual 1. Ritual 2. Misogi, the Water Declaration. After Mokuso, the samurai moved immediately to water. In its original form, Misogi involved standing beneath a cold waterfall while reciting purification prayers. The physical shock of the cold water forced total present moment awareness. You cannot be distracted when freezing water is hitting your body. The mind has no choice but to arrive completely in the now. But the everyday version of Misogi requires nothing more than your bathroom sink. When you go to wash your face and hands in the morning, most Americans do it mechanically, on autopilot, already thinking about what they have to do today, already running the mental list, already halfway into the day before they have even fully arrived in it. Misogi transforms this automatic act into a deliberate transition ritual. Here is how to practice it. When you approach the sink, turn on the water. Feel the temperature before you adjust it. Feel it touching your skin. And as you wash your face, hold one single clear intention in your mind. Today I begin clean. Whatever happened yesterday is yesterday. I am washing it away. Today I begin clean. This sounds almost childishly simple, but the neuroscience of embodied ritual confirms what the samurai observed empirically for generations. Physical sensory anchors combined with deliberate mental declaration create measurable state changes in the brain. The water is not magic. The intention is not magic, but the combination of physical sensation and conscious choice interrupts the automatic continuation of yesterday's mental state and creates a genuine breakpoint between who you were and who you are choosing to be today. Think about how different that is from waking up and immediately checking to see what other people did while you were sleeping. One ritual hands your first conscious moments to the world. The other claims them for yourself. If you are still here, you are already doing something that most people will not do today. You are choosing to learn something instead of just consuming something. That matters. And what comes next is the ritual that ties everything together. Ritual 3. Seishi, the posture of purpose. There is a concept in Japanese martial arts that has no direct equivalent in English. Seishi. It refers to the specific quality of physical intentionality that a master brings to every action. The way a samurai stood before entering a room. The way he held himself before a training bout. The way he moved through the world at all times as if every action mattered. Not performatively, not for show. but because the samurai understood something that Western culture has almost completely forgotten. Your body does not simply reflect your mental state, it creates it. Modern psychology calls this embodied cognition. The research is clear and consistent. Your posture directly affects your cortisol level, your testosterone, your confidence, your cognitive performance, and your emotional regulation. 2 minutes of deliberately holding an upright, open, intentional posture measurably changes the neurochemistry of your body before you have done anything else. The samurai trained Seishi because in combat a warrior who entered a fight with slumped shoulders, shallow breathing, and averted eyes had already communicated defeat to his own nervous system before the first strike was thrown. And that same principle applies to every morning in your life. Most Americans wake up, hunch over their phones, breathe shallowly, and shuffle into their day with the posture of someone who has already given up. And their nervous system responds accordingly. It generates a neurochemical profile that matches the body's signals. Defeated posture produces defeated neurochemistry. Seishi interrupts this before it starts. After Mokuso and Misogi, stand up straight. Plant your feet shoulder-width apart. Open your chest, set your jaw. Take 3 slow, deliberate breaths from your diaphragm. And before you move toward anything else, ask yourself one question. What is the one thing that would make today meaningful? Not the entire to-do list, not everything you have to accomplish. One thing. The thing that if you did nothing else would make today worth having lived. Hold that answer for 30 seconds, then move toward it. That is Seishi, and it takes less than 3 minutes. 3 rituals. 10 minutes total. Mokuso. 2 minutes of deliberate emptying before you engage with the world. Misogi. The water declaration that creates a clean break between yesterday and today. Seishi. The posture and intention that sets the neurological tone for everything that follows. The samurai did not develop these practices because they were spiritual men seeking peace. They developed them because they were warriors who understood that the mind is the primary weapon, and primary weapons require daily maintenance. Most Americans give the first 10 minutes of every day to a device that wants to make them anxious, distracted, and dependent. And then they spend the rest of the day wondering why they feel anxious, distracted, and dependent. The samurai gave those 10 minutes to themselves, to the deliberate preparation of the most important instrument they possessed. That choice compounded over weeks and months and years into something that the people around them described as almost supernatural composure. It was not supernatural. It was 10 minutes every morning. Think about the last morning you woke up feeling genuinely clear, genuinely ready, genuinely in control of what the day was about to bring. How long ago was that? How different would your life look if that was not the exception but the default? That is not a fantasy. That is what 10 minutes of the right kind of morning does when you repeat it consistently. The samurai who walked into the battle of Sekigahara, calm, focused, and ready, did not get that way by accident. He got that way by practicing these exact principles every single morning for years, until the clarity was not something he created in the morning, but something he simply was. You can build that too, not in one morning, but one morning at a time. Drop in the comments which of these 3 rituals you are going to try tomorrow morning. I read every single one, and if this opened something in you, the next video goes even deeper into the samurai system for mental performance. The path is long. Walk it anyway. This is Void Dojo.